Hello, my name is Ramil Sibilia, and I'll be presenting my values-based leadership D253, Task 2. And just a quick introduction about myself. Like I said, my name is Ramil Sibilia, and I'm your new customer service manager here at Corollary and Marketing. And I just wanted to introduce myself. Values means a lot to me, so let's get that clear. Values are embedded within my every decision making in my professional and in my personal life. Here's some of my personal values that I want to share with you. It's creativity, judgment, leadership, spirituality, and love of learning. And let me tell you a quick story. That was probably my teenagers years. While I was going to college, I got this gig at a cell phone store. It was a kiosk. It wasn't even a store. It was a kiosk. And while I was training, I noticed how everyone was so laissez-faire, and there was not a culture of collaboration. I noticed that everyone was just so about themselves, so competitive. The manager was super laissez-faire. He was not involved at all. I remember everyone just kind of doing their own thing. I asked people about training that it wasn't a specific training. There was a success path. It was just a culture of competition. So no one wanted to help me, uh, and I would just have to pretty much wing it. And I remember they were interacting with customers and they were so rude. They were being rude to customers. It was just a culture of associates that just being rude. It was just a mess, I would say. And I remember I was dealing with a customer once, and I got frustrated, and I discharged my frustration on the customer. And I knew right there that that culture was affecting me. I was mirroring their behaviors, and that right there, I that's when I knew I needed to get out of there. I needed to leave. I needed to quit because that was not me. That was just not me, and that poisoning environment was influencing in my professional life, and I did not want that to happen to me. I did not want to be part of that, so I quit. From that point on, I remember that that's not what I want to be. That's not the type of leader I want to be. That's not the type of team I want to be part of. So I made it upon myself to live about my values and believe in my values and making decisions about my values. And just a quick, I wanted to share my vision for my team in Corollary Marketing. Here, my vision is to inspire and encourage my team to strive for excellence in one customer at a time. Let's repeat that one more time. To inspire and encourage my team to strive for excellence, one customer at a time. And there's a few things that we have to accomplish first to strive for excellence, but that's the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to strive for excellence, and not one customer at a time. With every customer, we have to wow the customers and every interaction. But there's a few things, and I'm gonna go through each individual one of them just to let you guys know exactly how we're gonna strive for excellence. The first one, self-awareness. The self-awareness is the ability to be aware of your challenges, emotions, and triggers, as well as your personal strengths. Self-awareness, a highly self-aware employee can objectively evaluate themselves, manage their emotions, align their behavior with their values, and understand correctly how others perceive you. But I really want to focus on self-confidence. Let's be honest. A self-confidence employee customers want to deal with them. Customers want to deal with an confident employee because confidence signals two things. Uh, the person they're dealing with is knowledgeable and they're honest. And those two things are really important for customers because you want to be able to, in this role as a customer service agent, you want customers to trust you and you want them to come back. That's it. It's pretty easy, huh? But self-confidence, it's embedded in your decision making. A high self-confidence person can make better decisions in interacting with, for example, interacting with customers. You can make fair decisions. You can make decisions based on your knowledge. And then you're confident about your decisions. The customer will trust you. Another one is effective communication. In effective communication, self-confident person will influence in your communication with customers because you know what you're talking about. Customers wants to see that. Customer wants to come to you for advices and for suggestions. Another thing is understanding your customer. You really want to understand your customer, and that's just that's how self-confident people are. Self-confidence employees. That's what we're building here. The next one is self-management. And the self-management is the ability to control emotions, that ability to control your emotions, your feelings, your actions, as well as your personal strengths. And that's just for your customers. This is good for your environment because the way you control yourself, if you have a self-management, you're able to control yourself, control your emotions when you're interacting with your coworkers, when you're interacting with customers, when you're interacting with your boss, and everyone in your environment, even in your personal life, it's going to benefit you. A self-management allows you to maximize productivity, improve your work performance, and efficiently achieve your goals. And let's focus on achievement here. Achievement is the fact, the process or fact of achieving something. And what is that feeling that you feel when you achieve something? You feel great, right? And achieving goals, feeling proud of your work, the work you've done, gives you that sense of purpose. So you want to feel that, and self-management will bring that to you. Will bring you that that sense of purpose. A self-management would give you access to your strength. So you know your strengths when you have self-management. So you use that as your advantage. You use that for your opportunities. Here, that will benefit you working with customers because you know your strengths. If your strengths are coming up with ideas, being creative, that will benefit you when you're talking to customers. When you're working on projects, that will benefit you when you're working with your coworkers, coming up with ideas. That's your strength. Your creativity is your strength. You will know that by being highly self-managed. Another thing is social awareness. Social awareness is the ability to empathize with other individuals, groups, communities, and apply that understanding to interactions with them. So that in here, a social culinary marketing, you will use that to empathize with your customers, empathize with your coworkers, you empathize with your customers, empathize with your teammates when you're working on projects. And I just want to talk about a little bit of empathy. What is empathy? Empathy means feeling that what someone else is going through from their point of view. So you will walk their shoes, and see it from their point of view. So that's empathy. It requires an understanding of the situation, a shared emotional connection with that person. So you share a connection when you empathizing with a customer, or when you empathizing with your coworkers, your manager, and social awareness help us understand professionalism in the workplace, as well as making it easier to share information, communicate, and collaborate with others. You build a sense of empathy when you are socially aware and develop better relationships. Even in your personal life, you develop better relationships when you're socially aware. And socially aware, you can be socially aware with culture, gender, anything. Just being socially aware will give you better relationships. And for our customers, enhance their customer experience because of that sense of empathy. The other thing I want to talk about is unconscious bias. Unconscious bias is learned attitudes or stereotypes that exist in our subconscious and can involuntarily affect the way we think. And the most common type of in a professional setting is authority bias. Just to give you a quick example here. And authority bias is generally following a trusted authority with relevant expertise uh, is a good idea. However, blindly following a leader direction without your critical thinking may cause future issues. And I want to tell you a little bit about that. I mean, how many times have you been in the with your manager? He gives you directions of doing accomplish a task or doing something uh, uh, related to work, and you haven't even asked about why or how you're doing it or what's the purpose of doing that. You're just doing it because he's the manager and you just do it. And that's what is unconscious bias, authority bias to be precise. That is authority bias. Where you're just following because he's the boss. He should know what he's talking about. So I'm just going to do it. And I want you to think about yourself. Think about get that critical thinking of why you're doing that. Why is it that you're doing that? And ask questions. Ask questions. Why are we doing this? Why is this happening? Why are we accomplishing that? Plus, it gives you that accountability because you want to know what's your mission? What are you accomplishing? What is it? What's the purpose? What's the purpose of what you are doing? So that's critical thinking. And do your research when you are in that situation. I want you to challenge me and ask me questions and not just follow what I said, even though what I said is right, but because I would never do that to you, I would never put you in a predicament. But I want you guys to challenge me. I want you to ask me questions and why we're doing this. And I want you to do your research so you know exactly why we're doing this. So you figure it out. Connected bias is the next thing. It's a systematic error in thinking that occurs when people are processing and interpreting in the world around them and affects the decisions and judgments that they make. Let's think about that one real quick. A systematic error in thinking that occurs when people are processing or interpreting in the world around them and affects the decisions and judgments that they make. This is pretty deep. This is pretty good stuff because this happens on every single person every day. This is the first one, so you get it. So you get an idea of what I'm talking about. The first one is the halo effect. Halo effect is the overall impression of a person's influence, how you feel and think about their character. And I'm going to give you an example of this. How many times have you been in a situation where you know something and you're trying to explain to another employee and you're really good at it. Well, you have a dominance on that subject. You're an expert at that point, and you're trying to show your coworker or show your customer exactly what you're talking, that you know what you're talking about, and they tell you, "Oh, you'd be a great manager." Just because I know something about my job doesn't mean I could be a good manager, and that's the halo effect. And another one is attentional bias. Attentional bias is the tendency to pay attention to some things while simultaneously ignoring others. This happens in our everyday life. It happens in little things like this. Check this out. When making a decision about a car, you may pay attention to the look and feel of the exterior and interior, right? But sometimes we ignore, in some cases, I know I do. I ignore the safety record and the gas mileage. I never really think about it until I start driving. I was like, oh, shoot. I gas mileage is pretty bad on this car until I already bought the car. But most of the time, this is what happens. We often think about the exterior and the interior. We want a cool car. We love how it looks from exterior and interior, but we ignore those little things. That's attentional bias, and that happens to everybody. Biases impact our ethical decision making and can explain why sometimes good people make bad decisions. This can occur when individuals want to obtain a desired outcome for themselves, such as career advancement or financial reward, where there is too much emotional attachment to the desired outcome can cause individuals to behave unethically. And this happens a lot in a professional setting. And because if there's a reward, sometimes the ethical biases can impact your decision making. Biases can limit our view of the world. However, by understanding our tendencies and removing the dependencies on bias, we can develop a wider perspective on what we see and what factors we bring into our decision making. The next thing I want to talk about is relationship management. And relationship management is the ability to build value adding relationship with others. Value adding relationship with others. But I don't, some people get that confused. I don't want each individual one to get that confused. It's not friendship. Let's get that clear. It's a relationship. It's a professional relationship or it's a work relationship. Well, it's the same thing, but it's not a friendship because friendship sometimes can develop a bias, and bias is not good because it can impact your decision making. We don't want that. But I want everyone to here to develop a culture of care, and a culture of care. It's building a culture of the mean, and building a culture of care means creating an environment where people feel valued, not just customers and clients, but those within the organization too. I want everyone to feel value. I want everyone to add value when you're working with customers, when you're working with working with your coworkers, when you are around the office. I want us to develop a culture of care. The next thing that I want to mention is emotional intelligence. But emotional intelligence, it's all of those things that we just talked about. It's that concept of all of the what we just talked about. And emotional intelligence combines your relationship management skills, your social awareness, your self-management, and your self-awareness, bringing your career to new satisfying heights. So if you have that emotional intelligence, trust me, we going places. And that's what I want here. And when I mentioned earlier that I want everyone to strive for excellence, these are the things that you wanna accomplish. You wanna be highly emotional intelligent, developing the relationship management, your self-awareness, your social awareness, and your self-management. Relationship management, but I want to really focus on relationship management because we're dealing with customers. We're dealing with customers on a daily basis. We're dealing with customers. We're dealing with our teammates. We're working on projects. We in the office. So relationship management is really important here because this is what is going to determine how we interact with each other, how we build that relationship, that loyalty between your coworkers, between customers. Customers' loyalty is extremely important for the organization, for our organization, for our team, and you feel good about that. And when you develop that relationship management, you get positive word of mouth. That means that the customers are always talking about you. They always mention you, so that's good for us. That's a good thing for us. Plus, everyone is happy. Everyone is happy when they're talking about us, good things about us, because they mention us about being delivering a great service and wowing the customer and going above and beyond for the customers. And that's how they trust us, and that's how what relationship management influences. And I want to thank everyone and welcome to the team.